Hi, my name is Matt Fisher, and this is my wife, Lindsay. We've been parishioners at St. John's for 6 years. Previously, I think that my thoughts on giving were kind of non-existent. It wasn't something that my family really prioritized when I was younger, so it wasn't something that I ever really gave too much thought to.
My example growing up was quite the opposite of Matt's. My parents were very generous with their time, talent, and treasure. But even despite the great example that they set, I didn't have a really good understanding of giving. So when Matt and I registered and officially became parishioners at our first parish, we knew we were supposed to give, but we didn't do it very intentionally. I simply just looked at the back of the tithing envelope and assumed that the numbers they had listed there were suggested amounts. So as long as we put in an amount that was above the median listed, then we must be exceeding our parish's expectations of us. But shortly after we joined St. John's, we both pretty distinctly remember a homily that Father John gave where he addressed tithing. And he didn't say anything earth-shattering, but he just pointed out how a lot of people will take a one and done approach to tithing, where they'll set their amount and then they either just put that in the envelope or set their EFT and continue to do that repetitively without ever revisiting it. And it really hit home for us because that was exactly what we were doing. So it made me kind of step back and ponder how I would feel if that was the approach that my employer took to my compensation. Like, hey, we're going to set your salary on day one and then we're never going to go back and revisit it. So for me, that really kind of helped reframe my understanding of tithing, that this should be more of a function of our income.
Yeah, I think Father John's homily definitely kind of reset our expectations and kind of our thoughts on giving. And, I think when our kids started school, we kind of saw the Catholic education that they were giving and getting, and that kind of inspired us even more to kind of help support the school and the church. And, I think as our kids have grown, in their Catholic education and in their faith, they've continued to ask great questions, and they've definitely, we pray together as a family on a daily basis. It's just kind of brought us, closer to God together.
Yeah, so Matt and I both work full-time, and we have 3 kids that are involved in extracurriculars, so our life feels very busy. And for years, I just kind of told myself, at this stage of my life, I don't have time for this dedicated prayer routine on a daily basis. But when we saw the spark and the interest in our kids that they were coming home with, it really inspired and motivated me to make that time for prayer. So I finally committed to it, and I read the Bible cover to cover when I was in my 30s. But now I can't remember the last day that went by that I didn't start my day with the Bible and praying the rosary. And I don't know how he does it, but somehow when you make that time for God, he multiplies time in your day, because everything I was doing before still gets done, even though I'm committing about an hour every morning to prayer. So being generous has definitely brought our family closer to God. It has brought a fullness of joy into our lives that was something our material possessions, that fleeting happiness, never gave us. The attitude of gratitude in our home has grown exponentially.